Welcome to this podcast, Holistic Creators, where we share our unique and universal stories about shaping the future for the 4 Ps: people, planet, purpose, and profit. My name is Swanette Kuntze. I'm a mental coach and your host of this show. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to a holistic future. So welcome. Welcome to my podcast, Holistic Creators. My name is Swanette and I'm your host. Today, Marchesi is my guest. She is the Intuition Queen, is an intuitive and creative coach, healer, and empowers women to trust their intuition and manifest their vision with color therapy and other holistic techniques. So welcome to my podcast.
Thank you, Swanette. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it is very interesting. What is an Intuition Queen? Tell me a bit about that.
Well, that was a name that my friend gave to me. She is a channeler, so she channeled the name for me because I was already working with intuition and creativity. But she was like, "Your intuition is so strong," and to me, it was like, "Oh no, that's like my intuition is like yours, like everybody's." She was like, "No, it's not." Every time, so she, obviously because we were working together often, she was like, "You just have this thing that you just feel and see and you have a vision of things." And I never really thought about it, but obviously that's been the way I led my life, like listening and following how I felt and what made me feel better or good, despite having a situation where maybe logically one choice was better than the other one. But I never really felt like I could explain why I was going that way. And it always turned out to be the best solution for me, even if people couldn't really understand it. So when she said that to me, somehow felt really good. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I am the intuition queen. And I just felt it fit. So, and the fact that she made me realize that my intuition wasn't like everybody's, and also people started to tell me that was at the beginning when I started my business. And I was like, okay, so maybe this makes sense. So that's why my name is the Intuition Queen, because I was given it by source. So I was like, okay, you guys, if you say so. Yeah.
Oh, this is really fantastic. I see a lot of people that kind of have intuition but never use it. So it's like they're making decisions from the logical mind because all the facts look good, but somehow they have this gut feeling, oh, something is not okay, but they go with a decision of the mind. And so how do you feel your intuition? Perhaps people can understand better what it is to have this kind of intuition.
Well, I think we're all intuitive. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. It doesn't matter. Like, we all are. But the problem is that you struggle to listen to your intuition. And this is what I've been found in speaking to other women or coaching my clients. Oftentimes, some people are so sensitive. And when you're a child, you're obviously controlled by your parents in a good way, not necessarily because you might have had a traumatic experience with your parents, but even if you haven't, they try to direct you. And so oftentimes the message that you receive is that it's not okay. It's not okay to follow your intuition because maybe you cannot explain it or it doesn't make sense. And so as you grow up, this is what your subconscious is telling you. And this is the reason why oftentimes you don't listen to your intuition, is because you have a hard time explaining to other people, making sense of it yourself. And also your intuition might want you to do things that make you feel fearful or something. Like, for example, I just moved back from England after almost 12 years there. The way I moved there was because my intuition told me so. And the way I moved back is because my intuition told me so. Just this time, I made the move way quicker than I did when I moved there. And people that knew me were like, what? Are you being serious? Like, you love London? I was like, yeah, I just felt this was never, like in the last couple of years, this was not my place anymore. I just didn't know where to go. And somehow Italy was not in my plan, but my intuition is telling me so. So people now know me as the person that listened to my intuition. But back in 12 years ago, people were like, wow, what? Like, so you might have it in a variety of different ways. You might feel it in your body. You might hear it. You might see things. You might dream about it. You know, there are so many different ways that you can listen to your intuition. It's very personal, and you just need to learn how that works.
So speaking about your journey, you went to London, and then you had the feeling, okay, I have to go back to another place, not being clear where this place is, and then you went back to Italy. I had this feeling for myself as well. It was like I'm grown up in Germany, and I spent a lot of time also in Spain. I had horses there, and so it was always like Spain would be a place where I wanted to go. And then I spent some holidays here in Madeira, and it was really, I stepped out of the plane, and it was really love at first sight. Yeah, the light, the sky was blue, all the abundance of flowers, and I really fell in love with this island, and it was clear from one second to another, I want to live here. And then it took me some time, of course, but then I decided, okay, I will fly there, no ticket back. This will be my place to live. And so I'm here, and I never regret to make this decision, even though it was a huge one. No?
Yeah, I can imagine. That was your intuition for sure. There is a reason why you need to be there, and maybe you found it already, maybe you realize it or not. I think there is always a reason why we are told by our intuition to move to a place or to do certain things. And sometimes for us, they don't make, like you said, when I moved to London, I thought, okay, this is my place. I'm always going to live here. And it felt like that for years. And then somehow, probably because I always been someone that wants to travel and discover the world. And I started to travel to the States because of my job. And I started to feel like, oh, this is where I'd love to be. And I think for me was trying to figure out where to go, because obviously as a European, it's not so easy to move to US. And so while I was figuring out, okay, how do I do this? What shall I do? Where shall I go? Something else happened in between. And I feel for me, the reason why I've moved back to Italy, I mean, I can tell you with certainty also because I did like an astrology reading and all other stuff, because I love so much to also use other practitioners and learn more about me and myself and all the energies around me. But for me, the main reason is to heal the relationship with my mom. I've done a lot of work, a lot of inner work for that, because we always had a very rocky relationship. And that is one reason. And I just felt the energy in Italy would have been different. Somehow I got to a point in London where I felt the energy was keeping me stuck. And I was like, I just need to switch. And, you know, I knew this was the reason, but now like I wake up every morning with the sun shining. And I think sometimes we don't really realize how certain things affect us. I always love the sun and things like this, but I kind of coped with the bad weather because there was something else that was keeping me there, which was the vibe of London, was the desire of being there. When that was over, because I was going through a certain evolution, at some point I was like, I'm done with this weather. I'm done with this. I'm done with the people. I'm done with the energy, you know. And it just your intuition trying to tell you, okay, so this is a chapter that is closing. Figure out where you go next. And you get messages, like I got messages that Italy was a place, but then my ego was like, Italy? No, what are you talking about? You want to go somewhere else. And then at some point it was just so strong. And in summer was like, okay, Italy is, okay, I'm going to listen. Okay, let's do it. And it just so completely different. I mean, there are certain things that obviously, if you look at it from a logical point of view, they're not the same, they don't work, and la la la. But if you start to look at what's outside of you, you're never going to feel fulfilled. And for me, listening to my intuition is the most important thing.
Yeah, I totally get that. So for me, it is the same, like feeling the energy in Germany is kind of draining and heavy, and being here, it feels so free, and I'm getting inspired and activated, and a lot of things changed during the last years I'm here. So I really became a different person while I'm here. And I think I also have this kind of calling to come here. So meeting special people, creating special projects. Yeah. And this wouldn't happen in Germany. So there was this calling to go to this island as well. Yeah. And at the beginning, of course, no, it was, okay, this is really kind of kamikaze. Yeah. Leaving everything. Yeah, I had my business in Germany. I had my house and horses and whatever. So a lot of things that needed to yeah, I need to understand what will happen with them. But coming here was so clear. It was really something was pulling me.
Yeah.
And so if people get this feeling, there is something that is so intense, and they really feel, okay, I need to do this step. But on the other hand, they need to be kind of brave to really, go to another country or leave a job or leave a family, whatever this calling is. So how do you think people can handle this?
Well, obviously there are different reasons. Like you said it all, like, you know, you might be afraid to leave your job, and what you're going to do in that different place, and how you're going to sustain yourself. And you have a house. What do you do with that? You have a family. So obviously it's something that you need to try to figure out in the first place, because if you have a family, it might be a little bit more difficult to move because you have to get everybody on board. But it's about trying to figure out how you can do that. Because obviously fear will get you in a way and make you think about all the possible reasons why you shouldn't be doing that. But what you need to focus on is, okay, so this feeling of being in Portugal or in Italy or wherever that could be for you, the way I feel if I think about myself in that place is this: happy, fulfilled, I don't know, energized, whatever that could be for you. Okay, so think about what can you do to get to that place? What are the things the steps that you can take to get to that place, and maybe, you know, start looking for a job, start talking to your family about it, go there on holiday, start to get people to see what you see and feel what you feel. Because oftentimes we shut off completely because we think the person we live with will not understand, or we think we will not find a job, or we think we're not going to be able to make enough money. But the thing is that when you take a leap of faith in yourself and your intuition and you trust, there are going to be a lot of synchronicity and things happening for you once you get there. The thing is that until you do that, you will not know that's going to happen. But what you can do is try to find ways to get to that point. It doesn't have to be a quick decision. Maybe it's a quick decision within yourself, but then from the moment you take that decision to the actual time in which you make it happen, it can be 6 months, a year, but it's working towards that. It's trying to make people understand why this is important, not just for you, but for them too. Because if you have a family, clearly you would probably be thinking, how can I, you know, change my children's school and what's going to happen to my husband, you know. I understand it, but it's about getting those people to understand why this is necessary for everybody. And obviously you need to find your own personal way because everybody's very different. But the reason why you're called to go to another place is because there's something better there happening for you. You mentioned about meeting people, and the same happened for me. I was like, okay, so for me it was a little bit easier because I'm coming back home, so I don't need to find a place. I mean, not yet. I can stay with my mom for a couple of months, and it's coming back to a place that I know. It's coming back to people that I know. But all of a sudden, people that I hadn't talked to for years, when they realized I was coming back, they're like, oh my God, like, can we chat? Because I saw you're doing this and I want to talk to you about this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and I've been offered things that I didn't consider. You know, for me it was like, okay, I'll continue to do my job, and I'm just gonna have to figure out what kind of people I want to hang out with in Italy, because obviously I've been away for so long, and you know, I don't have any contact with old people, and I don't even know if I want to be with old people. And you know, just the fact that I said I was coming back opened up doors that I didn't think about, because I couldn't possibly figure that out. So, you know, those situations bring you in alignment energetically because you feel better. You said, you know, I feel freer, I feel much lighter, you know, Germany was heavy. I felt the same in London. I felt the heaviness of the energy there. I felt like I couldn't connect to the right people. So there is a reason why you need to move there. And if it's complicated, go there for holidays, you know. So you start to feel, is this the right place for me? The people with you will start to see, okay, oh, maybe there is a possibility. Oh, okay. You know, everybody has to find their own way, but the reason is always because there is something much better for you there. So maybe you're looking for the love of your life and you can't find it where you are, and maybe that's a place where you will find the love of your life. Or maybe your business is going to grow, or you will find a new, better job. You know, you never know, but if you feel this, I suggest you take little steps in order for you to get to that point. Because I know it's scary to do like we did, but maybe for us it was easy. I feel for me it was easy, but you know, if it scares you, then just investigate a little bit. Do things that will get you to a point to be like, okay, fine. So I can see that for me when I'm here, even if it's only 1 week, I feel this way, I feel much better, okay, or my health, it's better because I can go to the beach, I can breathe a fresher air, you know, there are so many different reasons. So feel into that and then start to find ways to get you there. And, you know, maybe you don't have a job, but just the fact that you look for a job, the universe will help you. Things will, you're moving energy towards what you're supposed to go. So, you know, they say, take messy action, take inspired action. It doesn't have to give you a result right then, but the fact that you're saying, okay, so this is where I want to be because it makes me feel good. Okay, so what can I do? What kind of job do I want to do? Where do I want to live? And you start looking, and maybe you start inquiring, you start sending CVs, or, you know, if you have a business, okay, you start thinking about how am I going to set myself up here? What kind of connection can I make? It's taking that little steps at a time to get you to that point. Like, for example, I want to live in US. Not necessarily for a long time, but I want to have this experience. And right now it's not going to happen. But what I've been doing is connecting to a lot of people that live in there. And so I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of clients that are Americans, because I kind of want to have the opportunity to go there, even if it's just to see a friend or, you know, a holiday, not necessarily for work. But I am taking actions in a way that will allow me to go there more, even if it's just for a week and come back. But it's, you know, you are putting the energy towards something that you want to. I don't know when that's going to happen. I know it will, because I am making the effort to get to that point. So it will come to you in so many different ways, but as long as you put the energy there, and if fear comes in and self-doubt comes in, and they tell you, oh, but how do you do that? That country doesn't have this, that country. Go back to the good feeling, go back to the good reason why you should be going there, and things will happen.
Yeah, I totally get that. So for me, for example, it was also that before I really moved to Madeira, I was here in holidays, and I already had connections to all the animal protectors. So I did this for many, many years in Germany. So I came here in holidays, I saw all the street dogs and cats. So of course it was something, okay, let's figure out what are the organizations here, how can I help while I'm here? And so I already made some friendships while I was here in holidays. And so it was a kind of preparing, like you told, you just told about.
Yeah. And, don't put pressure on yourself unless you have a time that you have a timing in which you have to be there for whatever reason. But if it's only like you feel called to go and there is no plan, don't pressure yourself to go there at some point somehow. Just start to work towards it. At some point, there will be the right time for you to go there, and probably you will be surprised because it's earlier than you thought or whatever, but it means that it's the right time.
Yeah, for me as well. So I can totally feel you and understand what you're telling me. It was not the first time I was here, and the second and third was not the right time to stay here, but after my mother died, it was like, okay, now I'm free, I can go. And so I took the decision then and really met the
Yeah.
So what was your intuition calling you to go to London? And what was the transformation you made while you were there? Can you talk a little bit about this process?
Well, I think for me it was a few different things. First of all, find my own journey by myself and learn to discover who I am. So that was one thing, because that's when I started to get into self-development. I had no idea what it was before. A friend of mine told me to read The Secret, and that opened up this. So I think London was the place I had to be in order for me to learn who I am, what I want to do by myself, without the noise of your family, your friends, the culture you live in, and kind of detach a little bit from the Italian culture, which wants you to be, because at that time I had a boyfriend. There was this talk about living together, which for me was like, I want to travel. So everybody around me, around my age, was going towards that situation. You finish school, you get a good job, you meet someone, you create a family. That has never been a thing for me. I loved my boyfriend at the time, but it was like, no, I have so many things that I want to do. And I'd gone to London like years back to study for a couple of years. When you go on holiday, you study as well. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, somehow something inside of me when I was 14 told me, this is the place you need to go. This is the place you need to be. But obviously when you're 14, where do you go? You can't go anywhere. And so when I finally went, I feel London was the place where I needed to learn to be by myself, to learn who I was, to understand what kind of path I wanted to go to. Because I always had this feeling within me that I wanted to be someone that helped others and became successful, but also I wanted to have something fulfilling. I knew that having a job, having a husband, or it wasn't for me. I just wanted something bigger. I just couldn't figure out and explain it. Like, I just didn't know. And I feel that was for me the way to learn, okay, this is what you need to be doing. I knew that I wanted to connect to a lot of people, that I wanted to travel the world. I just had no idea how. But this was always an idea of how my life was going to be. So that's what happened. So London was the place where you see so many people from different countries. So that's what I was craving. I learned also to be less emotional there. because obviously the culture and the job that I started doing, I started working in properties when I was there. It's very masculine, it's very logical, and it's not emotional. And being Italian, you're way more emotional than British people are. And also being an emotional person, I had to learn to discern my emotion and to manage my emotion. So I feel that it was a professional and personal journey to be like, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to struggle. So then you will learn from your struggles, because I also struggle a lot with money as well, which was not in my plans, but I did. And now what I'm teaching is to find inner wealth, which is learn to understand who you are, how you connect to your intuition, how your energy works for you, release emotional baggage. And, I feel this was the way for me to learn who I am, where I want to go, so that now I can teach other people and I can help other people to get to that point, because I released a lot of emotional wounds. I learned to understand what it means to have a high energy and to stay in a high energy instead of a low vibration, and what it means to manifest what you want, because I learned to take all those steps towards what my intuition wanted me to go for. And, manifesting physical stuff has become something that now I know how to do, but I didn't, because I didn't feel good enough, because I didn't know this was possible, because I didn't grow up in an environment that had a abundance mindset. Right, the opposite. I grew up in a family that had a lack mindset. So, you cannot ask for more. You just have to be happy with what you have, which is true, but also there is nothing wrong in wanting to make more money, travel the world and have a bigger house or whatever it is that you want. So all of those things. So I think that London for me was like, this is the place you need to go to learn who you are and become who you need to be. Now you come back because there is a higher vibration for you here. There are loads of things that are going to happen. And also because in your spiritual journey, your personal journey, there is also the relationship with your mom, which you need to work with and kind of like complete the work that you've been doing by yourself now. And there is another step that I cannot see, which is going to take me wherever it is that I want to go. I just know this is how it works for me. I just didn't know, but I feel that every place you go and every person that you meet will help you in your evolution journey. The only thing that I've learned is that if I don't do the work, my inner work, I can be in the right place and I can be with the right people, but nothing is going to change if I don't make it change. So sometimes, you struggle so much because you need to learn lessons. And I feel like I've learned my lessons. I enjoyed my life so much in London. I love London. And it was the place where I needed to learn who I was. I need to peel off the layers of, what society wants you to be and what your family wants you to be and everything else, and start to be like, okay, so this is me then. Right. Oh, I actually like this, but this is what I feel London was for me. And I was talking to a friend of mine because I've always been very much attached to things and places. And I was like, it's so weird because I feel like this was a great book of my life. I closed the book because the book is finished. And now I feel absolutely no attachment, no regret, no sadness to have completed this book. I feel like I can put it on the shelf to keep there because that's my memory. It's one of the books that I'm never gonna throw away. It's always gonna come with me. But I don't feel like there is that thing like, oh, when I was in London, I'm like, nope, check, closed. And it's so not like me. I used to be very much attached to pretty much everything and everyone. And now I'm like, oh, wow, this feeling is so weird but so good. Okay, I like that. I want my life to be like this. I want to experience life to the fullest wherever I am with whomever I am, and then be like, okay, this is over. Okay, next.
Yeah, I'm totally getting that. So I have also this kind of book that I can put on the shelf and say, okay, this has been a part of my life. It is finished. And it was a lot of learning about myself, also doing inner work, going through all this personal growth and into spirituality. And now there's a new book to be written and to be lived.
Yeah.
So when people come to you, what are the typical situations they are in?
So I work with colors, and I do color therapy to do healing, basically, to help you heal energetically, emotionally, whatever it is that you might need work on. So normally I have people coming to me saying I have like probably 90% of my clients are entrepreneurs, and they're all in the holistic business. They're either coaches, healers. So there are kind of two ways they come to me. Either is because they want to know what their brand colors are. So if I do a color reading, it's based on your date of birth. So like with your sun sign and a rising sign, it's never gonna change. It's the energy of that color is always gonna be with you. And there are 4 different type of energies, which for me is kind of like the itinerary of your life. You're born with certain skills, so you're born with certain colors. You need to go through life working with the energy of another color, because it's going to help you to move forward. Then you get to a certain point where you want to go, where do you want to go in your life? And that's the energy of another color. And then the last one is your life mission. So if you follow those energies, that's supposed to give you alignment. Obviously, all of us have had issues. We have beliefs and we have emotional baggage and things like this. So they come to me because they want their brand colors, to understand what the brand colors are, because they want to feel themselves when they use them. But oftentimes when that happens, and because I tune into their energy, we go through the reading of what colors they need, and then I might feel there is something else. And so from that something else, I start to talk about the color, and then oftentimes we figure out that the reason why they needed to come to me is because maybe they need to work on something else. So for example, I had a reading a couple of weeks ago. She came for the brand colors, and we started talking about her family and about the fact that she doesn't feel safe to be her. And this is a topic that is very, very common with my clients, and it's been something for me too. Not feeling comfortable to trust yourself and to shine your life and to do what you want to do, not because right now you don't think it's possible, you mentally think it's possible, you probably also taking actions, but subconsciously and energetically, emotionally, you still have issues because maybe you couldn't be yourself when you were a child because your parents wouldn't understand it or would tell you you were too much, or things like this. So depending on what's in your energy, I'll work with the colors that are yours, but then we also work with other colors because they will help you to move through whatever it is that you need to release. What I want my clients to get to is to find their own abundance on all levels, energetically, emotionally, physical, mental, because if we are not in a place where we know where we are at and we can combine, we're balancing all those 4 areas of our lives, abundance is never going to come. There's always going to be a disalignment somewhere. So what I do is I help them to release all the blockages. And I do it with colors because I've always been attracted by colors. When I learned I could work with colors, I was like, oh my God, yes. So it's a fun way to do inner work because it's never something that you know. Sometimes you do. Sometimes I had a session with one girl. She was like, I know this has been past life issues. It keeps coming back. And I was like, well, that means that it could possibly be a past life energy. But if it keeps on coming back in your actual life right now, it needs to be released right now. So we started working on my 8 weeks program and to resolve this. And you know, there's so many things that we are not aware of. And when we start digging in, and you feel it in your body, you feel it in your energy, so different. So I use color therapy to do inner work, basically, so that all my clients can release all the baggages and get to a point where they feel good. They feel like, okay, I know who I am. I know how I can connect to my intuition. I know how to trust it. And now I also know how to manifest what I want. So this is where I want people to get to. We can all do all those things, but the problem is there's oftentimes we don't know who we are or what is blocking us. And so we feel like lost or stuck, and we don't know why, and we just don't know how to move forward.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit curious, how does this work? So having these colors that are created because you get my birth date and time perhaps, and then you said these colors are changing depending on the on my process where I'm right now. What kind of step I have to do?
No. You have the same color. So let's. I'm gonna tell you about me because I think it's easier. If you see my brand colors, they are purple, pink, and orange. So when I did my color reading, based on my date of birth, I got magenta twice, and pink, orange, and purple, which was not a surprise when I did my color reading, because purple is the color of intuition. I was like, of course. Orange is the color of creativity. And magenta is the color of love, but it's the color that will help you to use your spiritual and physical energy and balance them up. So I'm not going to be a person that is completely up there into the spiritual world, and I'm not going to be just materialistic. I have a balance. I just need to remember that. And so when I saw my coloring, I was like, of course, that's why I decided to be an intuitive and creative coach. It makes a lot of sense. So that will explain to you, those are my energies. So I'm a very creative person. I'm very intuitive, and I'm here to bridge the gap between spiritual and the physical, which makes a lot of sense if I think about me and the way I always approach spirituality. I have a lot of friends that are like, oh, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like you're too much up there, and I feel like I want to bring you down here. It makes a lot of sense. So this is me. This is my energy. If I stay and I use those colors, I am normally very much aligned. So when I feel off balance, I know those colors are important for me to use. But then if someone like me comes along and like, oh my, I don't know, say, I feel stuck in my business. I just moved to my country back and I feel like I lost everything. I'm going to tune into their energy and see what's playing up for them. And whatever needs to be seen will come through. So we start talking about what's going on and the color that I feel they should be using. So the color has an energy and as a meaning. So if I feel you need green, it's because maybe you need unconditional love and you need to take care of yourself. You need to give love to yourself more than anything else. If you need orange, maybe it's either about you needing to have more fun or being more creative or having problem with your sexual energy. Whatever needs to come through will come through as I go into your energy. So the first reading will tell me your color, and we will talk about the colors you might need to use. If you work with me, in 8 weeks, we will always use your personal colors because they never change. But then also depending on what's going on. So let's say the first session, we figure out your own colors, but then there was an energy coming through, and the energy that you needed to work with was the color green. So the next session, we will look into that and see what happened, how did you feel, what went through. And obviously it's not just about the color, I also give things to do, journaling, whatever, meditation and something, because we need to work on the energy that is playing up and the emotions that are attached to it. So because oftentimes what I see, it's energy that comes from family. So we need to work through whatever energy is playing up. Why do you fear that? Why do you feel stuck? So, and we move through. When you work with me for 8 weeks, we will probably get to use all the colors, but your colors never change. So you can have 2 colors, you can have 4 colors or 3 colors in your chart. It depends on your date of birth, but they are always yours. So they're always the ones that you need to use to stay in alignment depending on what you need. So if I get disconnected to my intuition, I know I need to use more purple, more indigo, because those are the colors that connect me straight into it. And I know I need to be creative, and I need to do it because that also will open my channel to the intuition. So it really depends on what's going on, but your colors are always going to be the same. They all represent energies, and we can work on the emotions that are playing up for you. But it's something that I need to do when I tune into yourself. So the way you talk to me, what you tell me, will allow my intuition to tell me, okay, she needs this color right now. So what I normally say is like, you need orange, for example. Okay, so you can wear it, you can eat it, you can use it as you like. You can, you know, buy a plant with orange flowers. It's up to you to use that color in the way that makes you feel more comfortable. You can wear it, you can do meditation with that color. That color talks about a specific energy that you need to work with. So for example, this girl that was having some sexual problems with her partner, this was for her to start to see what was coming through, because at the beginning she was like, I don't like orange. And now she sent me a picture. I dyed my hair orange. I was like, okay. So obviously the more you start to work towards something, then things will come up for you emotionally, physically, energetically. You might have visions, you might remember stuff. And as you go through, then you start to release. And as you start to release, if you didn't like a color, all of a sudden you start to be like, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, I like it so much. It's because so the color, for me, it's a fun way to make you do inner work, because you're not concentrated on the reason why you need to use that color. You're concentrated on the fact that you love yellow, but you don't know the yellow is going to help you to work on your self-doubt, for example. And you're working maybe on the reason why you have self-doubt so much. So it's working in a way that you don't realize it's happening, but you also know that it's happening. But somehow I feel like it tricks you a little bit, because it's a fun thing to do. And we're not talking about doing, you know, shadow work, that when the moment you say shadow work, people are like, oh yeah, no, I don't think I need that. No, we're doing healing work and we're doing fun work with the colors, but really what we're doing is that, because we are releasing everything that is blocking you emotionally, physically. Sometimes, you know, you have a pain on your elbow and you don't know why you have a pain on your elbow, and there is a reason for it. Maybe it's not related to you hitting yourself somewhere. It's related to something else. And we do that kind of work because I feel that's important, and I have experienced that kind of release, and now I'm like, okay, I see my life very different. I perceive things very different. My life has changed. The relationships that were hard at the beginning are now very different. And now I'm like, okay, my life has changed so much and I can manifest things that I didn't think I could. I want to help women to understand this. Because as women, we've been told that we need to be wives and we need to be mothers, and our life is over after a certain point because we need to take care of someone else. And, you know, that's it. That's what you do. And I want women to understand that, no, whatever it is that you want to be, you can be. You want to be a wife and a mother and just that, good. You want to also have a career, good. You want none of those, that's good as well. It doesn't matter what other people say. So this is what I want women to understand. You know, you can be whoever you want to be, and I want you to release shame and guilt from whatever, you know, because there's so much judgment around us, and that's why oftentimes we cannot listen to we cannot trust our intuition. Too many people telling us what we should be doing, you know. And also, if you come from a religious background, there's also going to be a lot more shame and into it if you go a different way. So yeah, it just teaching women to learn who they are and trust who they are, and always make that kind of decision based on themselves. Life is going to change for the better, although you don't think it will, but this is what I have seen doing with my clients. I've seen for myself. I kind of feel like, okay, now I found this way, so everybody should know. So yeah.
Yeah, wow, this is so powerful. And what I can see, even though I never had an idea about how colors can impact my own transformation, I totally see that the colors I'm wearing changed a lot. So in Germany, it was always like dark colors, black and brown, and yeah, so really dark colors. And I had no things in my closet that were like white or pink or something. So now I'm here, I'm wearing white and I'm wearing light blue and rosé, so sometimes a little bit of yellow, but the colors definitely changed a lot. I don't have any dark clothes, no brown clothes anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, because your energy shifted completely. Yeah. And now you are in that colors that first of all make you feel comfortable, but also give you that free state of mind, and they help you connect. So the color that you're wearing now, it's kind of like a pink, purple. So clearly you are in that space of wanting to connect to your intuition. I also wanting to feel light. So colors say so much about us. So much. And, you know, and we just don't realize. But working with my clients, they're like, oh my God, Mara. I just love it because they send me pictures. Oh, I'm wearing this, and today I have this, and I'm going to wear this color. And it's so important because they can help us, or they can make us feel stuck or heavy. So it's very, very important to learn to understand how your energy works and figure out what color you need. And, you know, you don't need to know what they mean. You just need to feel like, okay, I don't feel like wearing black anymore. Okay, from today, I'm just going to wear light colors or colorful stuff or white, whatever. It's because you're listening to yourself and you're doing what your intuition is asking you to do.
So this is so powerful. If people are now interested to connect to you, where can they find you? So do you have any website, Facebook, or perhaps an offer that you want to share?
Yeah, so my website, it's theintuitionqueen.com, and you can find everything there. And if you go on the free resources, there are 2 free guides. One is to help you connect to your intuition, and one is to help you understand your energy with colors. So you can download that, and there are 2 free guides, and very easy, and they will help you to do that. And you can find me on Instagram as The Intuition Queen. That's probably where I'm most active. And I also have a Facebook group that is called Discover Your True Colors, where I give free training and I talk about colors, intuition, manifestation, healing, and all that.
Wow, great. So I will put the links down in the description. People can click on that and easily find you. Last but not least, Do you have any tips that you want to share before we close our conversation? Anything that comes out and is helpful for the clients and also for my audience?
As I said earlier, I feel like we have everything within us. It's just about learning to understand that. So whenever you feel you don't know what to do or there's too much, you're overwhelmed, just take a little bit of time and ask yourself, what's the next step? And try to get into a place where you are alone, where you're not disturbed, where you can listen to what your intuition is telling you. It's just a matter of asking yourself a question and tune into your 5 senses. Like, your body is telling you things all the time. And do little things to help you trust yourself. So see what your body is telling you and trust it. And if you don't know how to do that, try to do small exercises, about things that don't matter. So you don't feel like you're wasting things or, something bad is going to happen. But understand that you always have everything that you need and you always have the right answer. And so it's just a matter of tuning into yourself and trust that what is coming through for you, it's the right thing for you to do.
Wow, thank you so much for all the information you gave, and also about inspiring me now to think more about the clothes and the colors I'm wearing. And
yay!
Yeah, this was a totally new topic for me, and I think also for my audience. So thank you so much for being my guest on the show.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening or watching my podcast, Holistic Creators. If you want to know more about how I can help and support you, have a look at my website, Spiritual-Changemaker.com. You can also join my Facebook group, Spiritual-Changemakers-Community. Stay tuned for the next episode by subscribing to this channel. And you also can check the previous episodes.